You want to know what's funny? We live in a world where people will do anything, anything to avoid boredom. Scroll, tap, swipe, watch, listen, eat, repeat. Constant stimulation, constant distraction. The second things get quiet, the second there's no buzz, no notification, no excitement, we panic. We call it bored. But what we're really running from isn't boredom. We're running from stillness, from focus, from ourselves. And here's the truth no one wants to hear. If you can't sit in boredom, you'll never build anything great. Because greatness doesn't live in hype, it lives in repetition. It lives in showing up to the same task every single day when no one is watching, when it's not exciting, when it's lonely, when it's straight up boring. You want to be rich? Get ready to sit in front of a screen doing the same thing over and over until you master it. You want to build muscle? Be ready to hit the same workouts, same meals, same discipline every damn day. When your boys are out, when it's cold, when you feel tired, you want wisdom. Start reading. And reading is boring. It's quiet. It doesn't hit like a TikTok, but it rewires your brain. And you don't even realize it until months later when your whole perspective has shifted. But we don't want that. We want results now. Fast dopamine. And when we don't get it, we quit. That's the cycle. We start, we get bored, we leave, start again, get hyped, fade out, over and over. And then we wonder why we're stuck, why our life looks the same year after year. Boredom is the test, is the gatekeeper to real progress. If you passed it, if you sit through it, if you keep showing up anyway, you win. Because 99% of people won't. They'll tap out. They'll go looking for something new. They'll chase a better idea, not realizing it's not about the idea, it's about the execution. You've got to become dangerous in boredom, locked in, focused. You've got to learn to fall in love with the grind when it has no shine. Because if you only show up when it's exciting, you'll only make it halfway. Real winners, they embrace monotony. Athletes train the same moves until they're automatic. Musicians play the same scales until it's muscle memory. Entrepreneurs build systems and optimize them in silence. Nothing flashy, just brutal consistency. And you know what's scary? The longer you run from boredom, the weaker your mind gets. You're training yourself to need stimulation to function. You can't focus, can't sit, can't think deeply. You're always scattered, always distracted, and that destroys your potential. You ever try to build something while constantly being interrupted by notifications, noise, new trends? You'll never get anywhere. Your mind's split, your energy's leaking, and your discipline is dead. You've got to detox from the simulation. You've got to relearn how to sit in silence, how to do one thing for a long time with no reward, because that's where the breakthroughs happen. That's where real mastery lives. In boredom. Look at the greats: Kobe, MJ Cristiano, Elon, Gates. They all had insane tolerance for boredom, practiced for hours, built systems, obsessed over details most people would overlook. Why? Because they weren't chasing dopamine, they were chasing greatness. Boredom isn't the enemy, it's the portal. You sit with it long enough, it turns into flow. Flow turns into clarity. Clarity turns into result. But most people never get that far because they jump ship too early. We've been programmed to think boredom means something's wrong. Like if you're not entertained, you're not living. But that's a lie. Real life happens in the slow moments. Real growth happens in the quiet, when it's just you, your work, your breath, and your patience. You ever notice the best ideas come when you're in the shower, walking alone, driving with no music? That's not a consequence. That's space. That's your mind finally free to think instead of react. And most people never experience that anymore. They're too plugged in, too overstimulated. And let me say this, your boredom is a mirror. It shows you what you're avoiding, shows you where your discipline ends, where your patience dies. And every time you run from it, you're choosing weakness over strength. So the next time you feel bored, good. That's your edge. That's your training ground. That's your moment to lock in when everyone else is looking for the next high. You stay, you build, you go again. Because success doesn't come to the most talented, it comes to the most consistent. And consistency is built in boredom. You'll never be great if you need to be entertained every second. You'll never be focused if you can't sit still. You'll never finish anything if you need newness to stay engaged. So train yourself, train your mind to love boredom. Wake up, do the work, don't ask how you feel, don't chase motivation, chase mastery, chase discipline. Show up even when your whole body says skip it, because that moment, that's the one that makes you elite. You want to separate yourself, outlast everyone, outdiscipline everyone, outbore everyone. Let them chase novelty. You build legacy. There's freedom in focus, peace in silence, power in patience. Be still, be bored, and become great.